Senna, Piquet, Fittipaldi. Brazil is a breeding ground for F1 legends, and our latest guest is vying to join them. He's won junior titles around the world, dominated his debut F2 sprint race, and this season he's one of the favourites for the title. Today we're in the Grandstand with Felipe Drugovich.
Well, today we are in the Grandstand with a Formula 2 race winner. We are here with Felipe Drugovich. How are you doing today, Felipe?
I'm good, thank you. It's a pleasure to be talking to you guys here. Hope we get a good chat with you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And of course, we're speaking at the moment in the middle of March. You've just done F2 testing. You've got the season coming up. So pretty excited for the season ahead, I guess.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So new team, English team this time around. Yeah, I think they done a really good job last year. So that's why we chose them, and I'm really happy for the opportunity they gave me to be there. Testing went well. We got through everything we had to test, and yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. As everyone will say, we never know because testing is testing. We never know what the others are doing. But yeah, excitement is there. And I can't wait to get back in the car and practice now on the first race weekend.
Yeah, well, it's a talented team and a talented driver, but we want to go way back before we go into that. And we do want to talk about it all. But I guess the question which you're probably sick of answering now is, how did you first get into motorsport? How did the karting come around? Did you have any alternatives, or was karting something forced on you almost by your parents?
No, it wasn't forced at all. Of course, it came from my family. When I was very little, my two uncles, they used to race and they really liked the sport. But yeah, as you said, it was completely not forced. They just told me, always showed me the sport, and for sure from that I got a passion as well. But when I was 8 years old, he asked me if I wanted to try a go-kart, and I tried it. I said yes, and yeah, from there on they just really helped me to get through my career. As you said, no force in there, so they always told me, like, if you just want to stop whenever, just stop it. You don't need to do anything you don't love or you don't want to do. But yeah, I think I got the passion from them, so that's what I really want to do in my life. And yeah, from there on, I started karting, did karting until 2015, and then I moved on to Formula 4s, and now F2.
Yeah, well, you've got the karting history, of course, and you came over to Europe and went to Italy, where I understand you've lived ever since. How was that? You were a young teenager, making this massive move. Why was it Italy? How much hesitation did you have, or did you just know, if I want to make it as a race driver, I have to move over to Europe?
I think when you're younger, like, not saying I'm old now, but when I was actually younger, I think you just get one thing in your mind, and it doesn't matter what you have to get through to get it. And yeah, I was karting with the Cosmic Racing team, which is based here close to where I live now. And they asked me to move over to be easier for testing, to train more. And of course I said yes, yeah, whatever. And also my family really helped me. My mom moved over with me, and then ever since I studied in an Italian school, actually, so I had to learn Italian. And yeah, I think it was quite smooth, to be fair. It was not a big deal for me. I really enjoyed this change, and for sure was the best for me.
Oh, that's great. Well, you say you speak Italian, you obviously speak English extremely fluently, and I'm going to guess that your Portuguese is also not so bad. So do you enjoy those learning languages? Is that something that you actually enjoy? Did you learn any Dutch when you were at MP last year?
Yeah, normally I try to learn at least a little bit from the languages from the teams I go to. So yeah, I learned a little bit, especially the bad words. You always learn in motorsport, but yeah, the thing is in MP, most of the people were not Dutch. I think we had like 2 or 3 people that were Dutch in the team. But yeah, also I've been in Belgium racing teams, and I also learned a little bit of French. But yeah, not something really concrete. Also because I did German F4, so I did some German lessons. But yeah, I can't say I speak it. I just try to, and yeah, the only 3 I speak is those ones you mentioned.
Yeah, well, you're clearly a man of many talents, and I guess going back onto the motorsport area, in EuroFormula, you were just completely dominant in those early years. What was it about? I don't know, was it the car? Was it the team? Was it just you, the team, the car that gelled? Because you won almost every single race that season.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. I really liked the car, not the performance of the car, but also the way it drives the F312, the old F3, and especially with the Michelin tires, the package we had there, I really liked. I was really comfortable every time I got it into the track, and yeah, the team, of course, they've won before. My championship win, they always won the past year, so of course it was the strongest team, and yeah, I think everything just gelled, and everything was just really smooth. Every time I got in the track, I had an amazing car, and I could just push and push and push and improve my driving, and that's what I did.
Yeah, well, you seem to be a big fan of driving, because I understand that you drive yourself to almost every single one of the tracks when you're able to drive. And you hear about chefs, they don't want to cook when they go back home, but you seem to just love driving.
It's a little bit, well, I really love driving, so I can't not say that. But it's always, I think I don't know why I'm not that used to flying. I think most of the drivers, they had to go like in a racetrack like 3 hours from their house. They try to take a flight and stuff like that. And I'm the guy that just doesn't like airports and stuff like that. So yeah, if I can drive to a track, of course, not 20 hours of driving, but I'm fine with that. I don't have any problems. I have a car here in Italy, so yeah, it's quite easy. Just hop in the car here and just get out of the car at the track. So yeah, I think for me, I take that quite easily, and yeah, I think it's a way of getting behind the wheel as well, because as I said, we love the sport, and anything I can drive more, I will drive. So yeah, that's not a problem.
I guess is it Milan that you're near? I think I remember reading that you're near Monza.
Yeah, I'm in Lake Garda, which is in between Venice and Milan, but it's quite 1 hour from Milan.
Hey guys, Jim here. Hope you're enjoying our chat with Felipe. I just wanted to let you know about the beta season of our new game, Fantasy Formula Driver Academy. You get to choose drivers across not just F1, but F2, F3 and W Series in a fantasy league like no other. The best thing is you can join at any time in the season and you'll still have a chance to top the league. Head over to gpgrandstand.com/fantasy to sign up. Anyway, let's get back to our chat with Felipe.
You made it into the Formula One weekend. You were joining Formula 3, you started with Carlin, but it wasn't exactly the season that you would have wanted. And after your previous success in the feeder series to Formula 3, how difficult was that first season? Was it something with your driving and inexperience with the car, or was it just the team weren't as competitive as they expected to be?
Yeah, I think the team wasn't really competitive, and that also doesn't help the drivers. So we actually didn't really know what to do, because anything we tried wasn't really good. So we didn't have like any evolution during the season. So it was quite tough to turn the paper and just try again and try again and try again. But it also makes you lose a lot of confidence. And I think that's a combination of many things that didn't help us get any results that year. But I think I managed to turn the page, and the year later I was just completely fine in my head, and I could do my job, and it was a perfectly actually a good year. Also, my teammates from that year, they didn't do anything, and then they moved over, and they were also quite fast. So I think it's a combination of everything. I don't blame the team because they were trying, but when something just doesn't click, it's quite difficult to get any result.
Well, I guess with Formula 2 and Formula 3, everybody makes such a big deal. It's a spec series, but the cars aren't equal, of course. And were you finding that the car that you had in Formula 3 that year, you're just stuck with it the entire season? Was there something particularly wrong with it, or was it just you think maybe there's more talented engineers? Or
I think it was just an odd year. It was the first year of the car, so it was the first year that the new F3 was used, and we just took so long to develop the first things of the car and to get the direction we had to go, that we were just one step back all the way through the championship. So I think it was not a big deal, but at the end of the day, it was paying a lot in the track. So we were losing quite a lot of performance with the car, and that's true. As I said, I didn't have anything to do. I mean, the engineers were fine. We were working quite well together, but just the performance didn't came, and it was quite a tough year.
Yeah, well, tough year it was, but F3, just the one season, was that always by design, or was that a choice of yours, or was it your performances throughout the year that opened up some doors into Formula 2?
I think, luckily, most of the teams in the paddock, they don't just judge you from the last year you had, they judge you from your whole career. Yeah. So they knew what I was capable of, and we asked to test with MP at the postseason testing of 2019, and the testing went pretty well. I was quite fast, and the team wanted to sign, so I was quite happy with that, and for sure was the right choice, I think.
I want to ask you about that because obviously you going from that F3 season with Carlin to F2, how do you get yourself on the market for an F2 seat in that position? And so was it literally just approaching the teams yourself to do that? And was there much competition for the seat for you? Hopefully it wasn't just down to who had the biggest wallet.
No, I think it wasn't like F3 2019 was kind of, as you said, like everyone was just trying to get into the championship. It was maybe like 40 drivers trying to get into the championship. But F2 last year was, we came to the team and they were quite open with us, and it wasn't just paying more. They actually helped me with the price a little bit, and also because of the testing, so I think they saw I could do something with the car, and I could help the team to develop.
Yeah.
And I think everything went pretty smoothly. I didn't hear other drivers trying to get into my seat or whatever, but I think it was quite smooth.
So the F2 season rolls round, you're getting prepped up for it, and then COVID happened. You end up doing sim racing along with just about every other professional driver on the planet. What's your rig? What sim do you normally race on?
I built my one, so it's quite full of brands. So the rig is from SimLab. So it's the aluminum frame and everything. And I think Huizinfeld pedals and Leo Bonnar's motor, or the sim steering to servo, which is called. Yeah. So I built it from scratch, actually.
Wow.
It's quite good.
That's amazing, man. Well done.
Yeah.
And do you race VR, or is it in the triples or triple screens, something like that?
Yeah, I race triple screens. Yeah. I never tried VR, but some people told me it's quite cool, so I will try sometime.
It's a lot of fun. So And if people ever fancy taking on an F2 winner like yourself, then what series do they go and check out to see if they can find you online?
I'm the type of guy that just races everything and try to be quick on every car, but mostly I think I race F3 when I do championships or whatever on iRacing, which is the one I use mostly. And I would say F3.
Good choice.
Yeah.
The F2 season finally gets underway, then you put the car on the front row, you win the race 2, the sprint race. You must have been thinking, well, it's been easy, isn't it?
No, I think it was quite a tough year to learn everything, because everything is quite different coming from F3. Tire management has to be much more accurate, and also pit stops, longer races, and the car is also quite a bit... not more complicated to drive, but you have to learn everything again. And also 18 inches, which is quite different a little bit from the past ones. So yeah, it was, I think I managed to learn quite quickly the car. And also my driving style helped a little bit with the car and setup. And yeah, I think moving on to 2021, it's quite difficult to see where we're going to be, but hopefully everything I learned from last year I can put into work and get good results this year. I think that's our main focus.
And I heard you mention that there wasn't a massive leap in lap time from the F3 to the F2 car. I was a bit surprised about that, actually. I thought there would be, quite a significant step up. So I'm assuming the cars are getting the lap time in a different way around the track. So I was just wondering if you could sort of say, what are the differences in driving two cars?
I think the F2 now is really, really heavy, and that's what is paying a little bit of lap time compared to other categories. Because the F3 it's already a lot heavier than the old F3, but still a lot lighter than the F2. And I think minimum speed is quite the same. We just gain on the straights, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be. We should also gain through the corners and minimum speeds. But I think driving style might be quite similar because both are considered heavy cars, and you actually have to be very precise with them. I think the two main differences are braking. We have carbon brakes on F2, and that's quite a big difference. And also you use that as a tool to cool the tires or heat up the tires. And also the 18 inches makes the F2 car a little bit more snappy, and it's a little bit different, the feel you have. But yeah, essentially at the end of the day, I wouldn't say it's too different from the driving style from F2 to F3. It's just the performance from the F2, I would say it's a little bit more from the amount of power and downforce we have because of the weight.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about the 18 inches actually, because Formula 2 is the icebreaker for Formula cars in terms of going to the 18 inches from the old 13s, and I think Formula 1 is planning to go that way as well. I know a lot of the teams really struggled with the setup of the car when they changed to the rim. And you say you found the car like a lot more skittish to drive with those rims?
Yeah, I think it's quite physical because the sidewall of the tire is a lot smaller and harder, so the car makes the car a little bit snappier. But also because of the rim is so much bigger and so much there's so much more mass on it. I think it's 5 kilos per wheel. It makes it difficult for braking because of the inertia of the wheels and stuff like that. But and also it's a little bit different from the past tires, that the way it holds the temperature, because there's a lot less air inside. But to be fair, I didn't find we were expecting more. At least in MP, we're expecting more difference.
I feel even more sympathy for the mechanics now. If you're changing the wheels with an extra 5 kilos on it, that's a huge amount.
Yeah, it's incredible how heavy that those rims are, and everyone watching from TV, they should pay some respect, because those guys are really strong to raise those big heavy wheels.
Yeah, and the speed they do it, yeah, heroes. So MP Motorsport then, last year, they saw a massive step forward in performance compared to where they were previous 2 seasons. You got your 3 wins and Nabu got 1 win as well. Obviously, you being a fantastic driver really helped with that and the step forward in performance. But was there an engineering change as well in the team that helped drive that performance step?
Yeah. So they completely changed the technical part of the team. So there are people coming from, well, my engineer which was like the chief engineer for the team. He came from F3 from other team. Also, the other engineer that was from Nobu, he came from another team from S2, and so let's say the technical part changed completely. Yeah, and they are like organizing the team in a different way. So I think that's one of the reasons. Also, we were just growing throughout the season, and we ended up with Bahrain, with a very good performance. And so yeah, I think there was a big change there, and for sure helped a lot.
Yeah, your Bahrain performance was pretty much one of the standouts for the season. Incredible drive. UNI-Virtuosi then this year, long time front-running squad when they were Russian time previously in GP2. What's the goal for the season apart from the obvious winning the championship?
Of course, I don't want to say anything, but I think I need to put that in my head that I can be title contender. Just have to wait and see for the first race. Then I can actually give you a right answer. I just need to, I think, focus on getting used to the team. And also one of the goals would be to get the super license, which is really important. So other than winning the championship, might be getting the super license.
Who do you see as your main rivals for the season? Obviously, like the Prema drivers, with Schwartzman there, he's definitely going to be gunning for the title this year. But what about your teammate, Juan Zhou?
Those 3 will be quick. Joe have been quite quick in testing. I could learn a lot from him because he's, of course, really used to the team and has more experience in the championship, and also all those years he was in the same team. So there's a lot to learn from him. And also I think Carlin will be quick. They finished the year on a high, and they were really quick in testing. So we just have to wait and see who's going to be quick. But I think those top teams, the top 3 teams, might be the ones who's going to fight again for the championship. But yeah, we never know. F2 is F2, and like last year we managed to get a MP team that wasn't considered a good team, and now it's considered actually a quite good team.
Joe was busy winning F3 Asia the last couple of months, and this will be his 3rd season in category. Have you spent much time together yet? Do you think you can beat him straight away? And also, were you tempted to do F3 Asia as well to try and gain more super license points, considering that's obviously one of your main goals of the year?
Well, answering the first question, yes, hopefully I can beat him, but yeah, we have to wait and see. Testing was quite, I would say, balanced between me and him. We're actually quite similar as performance, but racing is racing, so we have to wait and see what's going to happen there. And about the F3 Asia, I didn't do that basically because of money. We cannot waste. I wouldn't say waste, but the car is so much different that the money invested there, I think, wasn't really worth it. And so we did. I did a lot of karting, a lot of preparation, simulator, and everything I could do, spending a lot less. Yeah. And that's of course would be good to do that, but when you're spending this much money in F2 season, I cannot. We didn't have the money to afford that. So yeah, I think it's good to do that, but at the end, it's not a game changer.
So last season, as we were talking about with especially Bahrain and your 2 sprint race wins, when you had a clear track in front of you, untouchable, you just waltzed away from the rest of the field, dominating the races. Sometimes you seemed a bit limited maybe by what the car could do when it was in the traffic. And is that down to the dirty air? Was it down to MP, or just down to your personal development?
It has to do a little bit with our setup from last year, how we ran the car. I can say it's a little bit from me and a little bit from the car. Both my driving style and also the car didn't help with the tire degradation when I was behind some people. So yeah, that was clearly a difference when we were in front. The car was just amazing, and I could push how I wanted.
Yeah,
and when we were in the fight, it was a little bit sketchy, and I couldn't really do what I wanted. But yeah, I think overall it's just part of the game. Some cars would be really good in traffic and not so good when in clean air. So yeah, I think that's your answer there. I think it just depends a little bit from the whole package.
The F2's always been lauded as using Venturi tunnels to produce more downforce than, like, you know, F1 uses the wings more in the upper surface of the car, and F2 uses the undersurface. So what's it feel like when you're behind a car? What does dirty air really, really feel like?
So mostly you lose front grip, and it's quite clear to feel it as soon as you get half a car out of the dirty air. It already grips a lot more. And yeah, I think the main difference coming from F3, the old F3, like EuroFormula and old F3, that we were just pushing flat out, and that car has a lot of downforce. So that was like a really big problem because we were behind, and it was really difficult to get close because car was understeering so much because we're just pushing. And with F2, the story is a little bit different because we're managing a lot of the tires. So I would say, like, for 1 or 2 laps, you actually, because we're not pushing 100% all the time, you actually can get the front grip and do that. But the problem is, if you can't get past, then because of the tire degradation, you just understeer a little bit one lap, and the next lap is more, and the next lap is more, and then in 5 laps you have no more front tire. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a different approach from the other categories that we don't have that much tire degradation.
I was wanting to ask you, what you think about the new timetable for the season? You know, with the 2 sprint races on Saturday and the feature on the Sunday, would you prefer the older format?
Yeah, 100%. It's a little bit strange, this one, but at the same time, there's some positive to it. We get our main race, our feature race on the Sunday, which is nice, together with the F1 race. And also we have in the weekend you get this sprint races before, so you get that out of the way, and with that you can prepare for the main race. That's nice. Problem for me is we run a lot less than last year. We had 4 less free practice and 4 less qualifying, and and some less feature races. But yeah, I think overall it's going to be exciting for us and also for the people watching, because it's going to be a lot of overtaking in the 2 sprint races on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we have to wait and see. It's not a big deal there. The approach we're going to have is going to be just try to pole position, and not some people are saying we're going to be P8 to win the first race or whatever. So I think it's just try to do our best, and yeah. Also, one thing is going to change. Maybe it's going to be qualifying is going to be a little bit less important. Looks like, at least.
Which tracks are you going to really miss this season?
Mugello was, I think, my favorite from last year. It was really nice to drive that track, and Spa, which is a classic one. I think those 2 are going to be missed. But yeah. Still have Silverstone, which is kind of my favorite as well, so which is good.
Yeah, Silverstone, where you got the pole position last year, obviously, so you're quick at.
For sure. I really, since first time I drove in Silverstone, I was impressed with the track, and I really like that track. So yeah, I think to get a pole position last year, that was quite cool.
The calendar this year, Felipe, I don't know if you agree or if you're at liberty to agree, but we've seen a lot of people say that Formula 3 had it better than Formula 2 for the 2021 season. So I'm looking through the calendar. Bahrain, Monaco will be iconic, of course. Baku, Silverstone, you like, then Monza. But the back half, Sochi, this new circuit at Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi. What are your thoughts on that as a calendar?
Yeah, F3 is I wouldn't say it's worse. But I think it is what it is. The tracks are there to race, so we just go there and enjoy it as much as we can. But we need to wait and see what the layout from Saudi Arabia is going to be. Maybe it's a nice track, so we never know. Abu Dhabi I like, Monza I like, Silverstone I like, Bahrain I really like, of course. So and Monaco, of course, would be nice for me to get to know the track. So yeah, I think the calendar you can see quite a lot of positives as well.
Well, you speak about Bahrain, and of course, you've just returned from Bahrain from the testing. So, how was the test for you? Did you get enough time in the car? There's, very limited with the amount of tires that you guys are given. So, was that a big restriction for you?
No, we could do quite a lot of laps. I think it was the third driver with laps, so I could get through our program and test everything we had to test. Most importantly, get used to the car. One of the main differences we had, they changed the hard compound for us, and yes, it's quite different. So we had to readapt the car setup and also our driving to that. Other than that, performance was okay. Of course, we're not. Our aim was just to long runs and try to get used to the car, and lap times were good. Option tires were okay for the circumstances, because it was the first time I ran those tires with the Virtuosi car, and I can say it's quite different from what I was used to, and but it's good, it's fast. So we just I think test went pretty smooth, and we have to see now in the race.
Those tires, feeling different on the car, from a layman's point of view, it's the same car, but of course Virtuosi are set up differently. So how do you, I guess, quantify that difference between the MP and the Virtuosi for the season, with tyre, with grip, with balance, with everything?
It's really different. Of course, the only track I could compare it on is Bahrain, and Bahrain was a track that the MP was really good. So I can't really see a difference in performance, actually. But in driving style and what you feel from the car, the feedback the car gives you, it's really difficult. I actually said, like, it's like driving another category. So it's for the people that say the cars are all the same. No, they're not. They change a lot. And I think it was really difficult to get used to the car in the first day of testing last year with Virtuosi, but now I'm quite used to the car now.
So you've gone back to Italy, and your team are based in the UK. Are you speaking to them with regular Skype, Zoom calls, or was there a plan to go back to the UK if it wasn't COVID?
Yeah, there was a plan to go to UK, but at the end, the most important thing was to get the seat made for me, and we didn't. But we have still our MP seat from last year, so which is a seat that I really liked. So I'm still using that one, and the simulator they do in Dallara, which is in Italy, and so which is quite good for me. So yeah, as soon as COVID frees up a little bit more the countries, I'll get there to get to know the team and probably do a proper seat for the season. But for now, for Bahrain, I'm just staying here in Italy, and I'm talking to the team frequently, and mostly through WhatsApp, no meetings or whatever, but just getting the last information from the test to just need to talk about those things and try to improve from what we got from the test. So yeah, I think it's not a big deal. It's just maintaining our contact and talking to each other. And now going to Bahrain will be quite easier to talk to them.
Yeah, of course. The gap you've got now, it's got a couple of weeks between the preseason test and the first race, but the gaps between some of the races themselves are pretty extensive. You've got a month or a couple of months between some of them. How are you planning to spend that time? Is it just a lot of physical working out? How do you spend those off weekends?
Well, of course, I need to keep training and keep physically, but also do a lot of simulator and karting. I think those are the things I do to keep going.
Is there anything in terms of, I don't know, looking for sponsorship or a drive for next season that you can do in those weeks, or is that something that's easier to do with having the paddock and speaking to people up and down the grid?
Those things we do 24/7. So just trying to get sponsors and seeing for opportunities. Actually, opportunities for next year. Then we actually need to wait a little bit and see the results from this year. But the sponsor thing is just 24/7. We try to do that all the time. But of course, it helps a little bit to be a little bit off the races and focus on those stuff as well.
Yeah, I bet that's frustrating. And you've got your teammate there, and that's not something that they have to worry so much about, being backed by a driver academy. Is that something that you're maybe looking at? Is that something, we find it interesting. You've got such talent, but you don't have an academy backing you yet. Are you knocking on the door?
Well, not really. I think they have to come to me, and some of them had some contacts with us, but nothing really concrete. I say many times they want money. Sometimes it's just a talk, and nothing happens after that. And if I can express myself here, I also find it quite strange that nobody's really helping me in that side. But I think it's normal. At the end of the day, I was P9 in the championship last year, so I just need to keep working and get good results this year, especially in the championship. And then I think the opportunities will come. We
mentioned before that a championship fight is probably likely this year, and if you get into the top three, Formula One should be the logical next step, but it might be that the seat's not available. Do you think, if you won the championship and there isn't a seat available, that's actually something you have to be conscious of, so you won't be able to return for the 2022 season? Would you prefer to finish second and get another season of Formula 2 and wait for that Formula 1 seat?
I don't know, to be fair. Money is, I think, the top thing we need to think about to that, because there's also many other categories I can have a career and be good at. But of course, now focus is 100% in F1, and I'm trying to get there. So I can't really speak about those things until I really see the results from this year and see how it's going, and seeing the opportunities that might be in F1, because we never know which driver is gonna get out of F1 or get in. So we have to wait and see a little bit.
Yeah, those F1 drivers get pretty long careers at the moment. My final question, I guess, from the perspective of driving, that I remember I was at Silverstone watching the race, not driving sadly, but watching the race about the late 2000s, the height of Felipe Massa, and there were Brazilian fans just going nuts, every time we went around the track. So have you noticed a big fanatical Brazilian fan base growing ever since your emergence in Formula 2?
Yeah, I really noticed that. I think it's pretty clear to see social media just grew a lot. I went from, I don't know, 7,000 followers or whatever to more than 50,000 now. So it's quite a big growth, and yeah, for sure you can feel the support from them. They are really passionate about it, and you can really see like they want someone in F1 now. And I think that helps me a lot giving me courage and seeing that they think I have the potential to be there. So that's quite nice to see. Of course, in social media they go over the limit sometimes, and they might cheer too much, but the others, well, whatever they do, they go completely crazy for whatever happens to me. But I think it's nice for me, at least, seeing that it's a really big support, and I'm thankful for everyone that's supporting me.
Yeah, they're like a Brazilian version of the Tifosi in a way, the way that it's so fanatical. Do you think there's not enough of people in Italy that know that you have an Italian passport? Because I'd imagine you could probably get a bit of a fanatical fan base from the Italians too.
Yeah, I would like to. At the moment, I think not many people know that I live here, that I have Italian passport, and I'm actually, I have Italian citizenship. But I would like to have some support from you as well. It's quite nice. I like the people, and I'm really used to them because, of course, I'm here most of the year. So yeah, it would be nice to have some support from you. But yeah, for now, not so much as I would like to. It's everything Brazilian, and also because I just represent myself as Brazilian, because for obvious reasons, I just grown up in Brazil and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be nice to have also some support from you.
Well, I guess a question to wrap things up and potentially get yourself some of those Italian fans. What is the best Italian meal?
That for sure is the hardest question from the interview. I don't know. I could choose at least 5, but I'll probably go with pizza.
Yeah, very safe choice. What's the toppings on that pizza?
For sure, not pineapple. Otherwise, Italians go crazy if you put pineapple on pizza. But I would say I think classic margherita, like Italian pizza, is the way to go normally.
Very, very safe answer there. So, Felipe Drugovich, we wish you all the best for the upcoming season. We really think you'll be in a championship fight, and wins are almost a certainty. And thank you very much for joining us in the Grandstand.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, and hope you can talk again soon. Thank you.